Soft move. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this regular Board of Selectmen meeting to order for December 20th at 7 o'clock. Please rise and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there any public comments? Anybody on the move? Or public input? Okay. Correspondence, anything come in?
No.
Okay. The acting first selectman's report. I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone in town, and prosperous New Year. Town Hall will be closed on Monday, December 26th and January 2nd. Those are the days right after the holidays, so the Town Hall is closed those days. There will be a special town meeting on January 3rd at 6:30 p.m. in meeting room A related to the Bethel High School HVA project. The town meeting will be recessed to a referendum proposed for January 12th, 23. Mr. Dibble is here today. He finished up his road program for the year this past couple weeks ago. They repaved Rector Street, did some work on Knollwood Drive, and also Old Hollyville Road. So that's my official elections report. I'd like to make a motion to add to tonight's agenda. I move that we add to tonight's agenda consideration of the Board of Selectmen, regular meeting minutes of 11/15/2022. Second. All in favor? Aye. And also add to the agenda tonight, a motion to add the agenda consideration of the minutes from the special joint Board of Selectmen Board of Finance meeting on December 1st. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
And you left off Bob's doing a ton of work on Shelley Road, right, Bob?
Yeah, drainage.
Oh,
We did
Yeah.
Chestnut Ridge, section of Chestnut Ridge.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bunch of other roads.
That's the end of the
That was,
paving,
yeah, that was. the
ending
last-
the paving
was the
program
last
for the
piece,
year.
yeah.
You see how the plant's closed down.
Right.
Okay. Consideration of next on the agenda, consideration of the tax refund for overdue payment.
Update of fire trucks.
Oh, well, there's really no update on the fire truck. We still haven't received any bids. Brad, you want to?
So the auction ended. The high bid that we got, which did not meet the minimum required that we put out there, 25,000, was $2,625. So obviously it wasn't even close, so we didn't rush back to you guys to go, do you want to sell it for that? Because I didn't think you wanted to.
No.
So we'll just at some point, it doesn't have to be tonight, need guidance from the Board of Selectmen because it's an asset that we're trying to get rid of, what the Board of Selectmen want to do next with it or pursue next.
Well, I certainly don't want to sell it for that amount of money. I think we just need to continue to warehouse it in the firehouse and maybe look for other venues to list it for sale.
Okay.
Are we self-insured on that or do we pay insurance on it?
It's part of our like blanket for all of our vehicles. And they would look at the value that they had assigned to it. So I don't think the insurance is very high on it. I could find out the number on it, but I don't think it's very high.
But you're not taking that out on a calls or anything. It's just being warehoused.
Is it worth anything as parts or no? Is it more valuable as parts?
It's not more, because the parts are all the same 38 years old. So.
Well,
We
sometimes
took off any of the equipment that could be reused, let's say, on another apparatus, so it's been stripped of equipment, but the parts itself, no, there's nothing on it that's of value to part it out.
Sometimes in real estate, it makes sense to put the bid at a much lower number. It creates a frenzy on it. So maybe, we discuss lower to a low bid and see if people, sometimes human nature thinks it's such a good deal. They start bidding it up. I've seen that in real estate a ton of times where, they put something under market value and then you get a lot of interest in it. I mean,
You're also taking a risk too, because the first bid on it was for $10.
what's the risk? I mean, we're sitting
Yeah,
on something.
well, still set a minimum.
I think the market spoke. So, you can set a reserve of 2,500 on it, bid it at, start bidding at
I think we
2,500.
just need to take some time to find out if we've tried all avenues that are out there.
Yeah, there was some discussion at the firehouse the other night about, maybe listening to some other trade magazines. So, yeah, I mean, they're not using it. It's not on the road. So it's just being warehoused in it. So, yeah. Probably worth that in scrap.
Yeah.
So I would just table it for, we'll continue to list it in some other trade magazines and see what happens. It's not costing us any money to have the truck.
Do you want to discuss a dollar amount that at this point you would sell it for in case we do get somebody interested? Or are we staying at the 25,000?
What's the scrap value on it? You said, I mean, scrap's not that great right now, to be honest. I don't know if the scrap value is 2,500 at this point. You try selling stuff to scrap it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe we,
You want to lower it to 20? I mean, the minimum bid?
Yeah, but I think before we list it back on that same site, we look at some of the possible, like you said, the trade magazines. I'll go through some of the magazines again that we get at the firehouse. I know my assistant chief did go through and reach out to some, and they were saying it was too old for them to take a risk on it. So I'll see if I can find any others.
I think you're gonna have a problem. I just saw the report. There were 856 hits on this. You got what, 6 bids?
Yeah.
Starting at $1, going for 10. Going up. So you had quite a few people looking at it.
are you able to put a number on the auction site, or it just starts as a bid? Are you on governmentdeals.com? Is that what you're putting up?
Yeah, it's govdeals.com. It did list a buy now price of 25,000, so people might have had an idea what the reserve was. But obviously a couple people bid on it, but I don't know.
Maybe do a buy now of 10 grand and see if you get anyone who wants to buy it.
Yeah.
If you had 900 hits and the highest offer you got was 2,000, I mean, the market.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Maybe
maybe,
last truck we sold, we didn't get much more. I think we got one.
Well,
Go for 12.
so maybe do buy now for 10.
I like to see it go to the other trade magazines and see if we get any bites on that.
Does it cost money to advertise in the other trade magazines? So you're,
I think they said a few dollars, that's all
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
not enough piece of cake.
So I would like to just, Sue's still selling it, for as much we get. If you want, we could lower it to 20.
20, 25, what's the difference? If you want to lower it to 20, lower it to 20. But I think if you want to get rid of it, lower it to a price that people would pay for it. You just said the last one we sold for 12K.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
77.
What year is this?
This is an 83.
Talking about 5 years. And how long would you sell the other one?
Yeah.
That came in 13.
I mean, the truck was being used up to recently. It's
Yeah,
a
we
good
only
work,
took it out,
it's a good working
like 6
truck.
months
It
ago,
was
maybe?
just when the issue came up about putting new tires on it to
Yeah,
keep
the
it
cost of
roadworthy, that
maintenance and
was,
repairs and
that's where we said no.
and certifications was more than what the truck was worth.
All right, so I'd like to, you still advertise it.
Yeah,
Let's look
I'll
at
work
some
with
other
Ron and
issues and
we'll-
we'll look at it next month. And if we don't get any bites on it, then we'll have to, maybe Mr. Dibble can put a snowplow on it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. All right. next, then it's on the agenda is the consideration of the tax refunds, in the amount of $5,027.11 due for overpayment of taxes. Paperwork in there from Paula. I'll make that a motion. Can I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Oh, okay, sorry. Carries. Next on the agenda is consideration of the stretchers and pagers for Bethel Fire Department and Stony Hill Fire Department to be funded through the ARPA funds. Okay, in your packet. It's C1, D1, E1, and F1. One up is the stretchers for Bethel Fire Department. It's in the amount of $58,174.40. Is that correct, Chris?
That's correct, and that's with the credit for the two that are getting turned in of $2,500 each, $5,000 for both of them.
No, yeah.
Was this in your capital plan this year?
It was in the capital plan for BBFD 8, not for the 10,
Okay, so
not my plan.
The town doesn't support
And we
EMS.
The town
appropriated,
doesn't support EMS historically.
we appropriated, or we considered taking the 75,000 from ARCA for the EMS sites of the both departments. So that's,
75 for EMS, 75 for fire.
Yeah.
150 total for each department.
and once we approve these, we also have to do a bid waiver because it's over the $50,000 amount.
this is shared by Reading too?
No.
No.
So these are our ambulances, just like Stony Hills is their ambulance. And these stretchers they get a lot of use. I know Chief Baker's going through the same thing. It's time to replace them, and this is a great way to replace them, it's really impact corporations, bottom line.
How old are the current structures that you're carrying?
The current stretchers are older than six. The one we're keeping is a 16 spare. The other ones I believe are 9s. Yeah, they're old. They're the first gen. They were the first generation we were put out. It's a different battery system. The batteries are better now, and there's a couple different features that, as they went through the years, they refined the stretchers, pinch points, things like that. Don't have them anymore.
We just recently had ours serviced 2 or 3 times this year. And they said that once any item of theirs is 14 years old or more, they no longer service it.
Yeah.
Our stretcher is 12 years old. Like Chief McCollum said, it's one of the first generation. They said, you have probably one of the first stretchers in the state.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both departments were right there. I mean, it's.
The reason why we did that was we saw the benefit because of the lifting capability, that power assist. You're gonna save on, let's say, workman's comp, because we're
Workman's
going
comp,
back
yeah.
out trying to lift up a patient into the back of the ambulance.
Mary, did I make that a motion or did I
No.
just, okay, well, I'll make a motion that we approve the 2 stretchers and related equipment for Bethel Firehouse in the amount of $58,174.40 to be taken from market.
From the ARPA that we're allowed, yes.
Yes.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
D1. These are the pagers for Belleville Fire Department. I'll make a motion to put on the table that we approve the purchase of 20 chargers and related equipment. And it's a two-part motion for $7,699.36, and the extended warranty for $1,299.50.
What's the total?
The total is $8,899.36 to come from ARCA funds on the firehouse side
It's
appropriation.
8,998.86.
899?
$8,998.86.
$8,899.36.
$8,998.86. 36 and 50 is what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote $1,200 down. It's
Yeah.
$1,299.
And then just explanation to the.
Yeah,
Here,
Chris
I
Chris
explained,
will explain about the warranty on it.
I explained to the fire commission why I did that is because the original pagers, this is one of them, had a 5-year warranty on it. So the pagers you buy now, they only give you 2 years. Of course, nothing really happens in the first 2 years. It's between year 2 and year 5 where you end up with issues. So I asked her what the extended warranty was. It's 3 more years. That gives us 5 years on these units also. And for the cost, when you do out the cost, it's actually a pretty good deal. Because you start getting into breaking stuff on this or dropping on the ground that breaks, it can be quite a bit of money to repair.
Is there a deductible or no deductible on the warranty?
The warranty covers certain things. I can get you a copy of the warranty. if you want. It's a pretty good warranty.
Did you mention as the old ones just come with a 5-year warranty?
That's right. They
And,
came with a
and
5
now
year.
it just comes with a 2-year warranty.
the
That's
only
why
two.
you were
That's
asking for the
That's why I
extra
did
3
the
years.
extended, yeah. Because that was a promotion the first time we bought it. And now they don't have that anymore. But I figured we should stay with the 5 because, like I said, it seems to be that between year 2 and year 5 is when you have things happen. Like you'll have a board go inside this and the boards are extremely expensive. It's, so.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. E1. Stretchers for Stony Hill. I'll make a motion that we approve the stretcher and related equipment for the Stony Hill EMS ambulance in the amount of $53,704.81. Is that right?
No,
No, that's not the,
because we'd put in for a stretcher and the power load system that pulls the stretcher into the ambulance. The total from Stryker was $53,704.81 with a reduction in the price of returning the existing power load and also an older manual cot that they were willing to take back for $500.
So it's 53,704.81.
$53,704.81, and then there's an additional. I sent Brad and Mary a quote from the ambulance manufacturer because they have
Oh,
to change the
for the labor of installing.
labor of changing the electrical connection for $676.
Well, I was gonna do that as a separate motion.
Oh, you do have it, okay.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay.
That's,
Do you have a copy of the,
Yes.
50?
Yes.
yes. That was a separate motion. It's a different company. And
Oh,
we have
okay,
to
you
wait,
tried to
we have
be
to waive the
itemized?
bid on this
Okay.
later, so we don't have to waive the bid on this.
I see.
Okay. So my original number was correct, the $53,704.81.
Yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And now the, it's F1, it's to install the equipment in the ambulance. It's from Eastford Fire and Rescue Sales Incorporated, the amount of $676. Make that a motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carries. Okay. Next on the agenda is consideration of a bid waiver for the stretchers. And I have a resolution here, I have 30.
Before you get into that, Rich,
Yes.
I know Marty and I have to dig into the ARPA funds a little bit more to make sure that we can use the money for this without doing a bid. We're pretty sure we are, but I just didn't want the firehouses thinking that it was done. Unless you've already gone through it, Marty, but I think we need a little bit more time to make sure that we can use the ARPA funds under the sole provider clause.
I think I did up a motion anyway, but that's okay, because you're right, we don't need to. I ruled before that what happens is when we have grant monies that we don't have to contribute to, then under those circumstances, we don't have to put it out to bid or anything.
Right.
Is that what you're saying? You're saying that we don't need to waive the bid.
I'm just saying from the standpoint of it's because it's federal money. Normally they would have us bid it or get two separate prices for it. But since it's Soul's provider of it, I just want a little more time to dig through it just to make sure that we're on solid ground with ARPA.
Yeah.
I know other towns and cities have done it. I just want to go through the paperwork a little bit more and then run it by you, Marty, what I found.
All right, then if there's a problem with it, we can deal with it next meeting, January, the first meeting.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do, yeah, if we find a problem. I just wanted on the record of this that it still needs a little bit more review. But we weren't going to kill ourselves to do all the review if the Board of Selectmen didn't feel like it was an appropriate use of funds.
All right,
Okay, so we'll wait to hear from you before placing the order.
yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna look into it. Thank you, Brad, thank you, Marty. Next on the agenda. Consideration to remove the fall from the special town meeting regarding the improvements and enhancement to the Bethel High School HVA system on January 3rd, 2023 to a machine vote according to Connecticut General Statute 7-7, comply with the town charter. So I'll make a motion to move that the subject matter of the special town meeting for the Bethel High School HVAC project on January 3rd, 2023 be removed from the call of the special town meeting to allow for a machine vote on the same pursuant to Bethel's charter and Connecticut General Statutes 7-7.
I'll second
Need a
it.
second.
Marty, can you explain to me what that says basically? We're gonna have a machine vote on the 3rd?
No,
No, here's what. I don't know why our charter hasn't changed in 15 years, but what happens is there's a section in the charter that says that if the amount that's being spent is over $1 million, you just don't go straight to a machine vote. It says you go to a machine vote pursuant to section 7-7 and 7-9B of Connecticut General Statutes. When you read 7-7, what 7-7 says, the only way you can take it from that special town meeting to a machine vote is one of two ways. Number one, the Board of Selectmen remove it from the call of the meeting of the special town meeting. So it's, you go and you discuss, everybody can ask questions, do what they want to do. And then automatically, I'm going to use the word, it's adjourned to the referendum date that the meeting sets, okay? Or the people who are going to attend the meeting, the citizens of the town, so many days before the special town meeting can issue a petition and have it removed from the special town meeting. We shouldn't even do this. We should just have a section in the charter that says, if it's over $1 million, we have a special town meeting that's automatically adjourned to the referendum or machine vote. So we've got to go through this in order to comply with what our charter says in the state statute. And by the way, the second part that I mentioned, 7-7B, all right, that has to do with the hours. Because it's referred to in our charter as well, normally those hours for voting are between 12 and 8 p.m. If you want additional hours, your town meeting has to vote for that. So the town meeting is going to vote for the actual date of the referendum, and we're going to actually vote to extend the hours from 6 to 8. And that's what we've got. It's kind of, like I said, I don't know why it hasn't been thought of before about the last, how many we've had, 3 or 4 charter things in the last 15 years, and nobody's ever brought it up or done anything about it. So we got to go through this little rigmarole in order to comply with both our charter and the state statutes. More than you wanted to know, right?
Yeah, I just, the verbiage, just want to figure out what time.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next, consideration of 2023 meeting schedule for the Board of Selectmen. G1. Except for the July meeting, Mary, right, is the only one that it's not on the first.
Because the first Tuesday was
Tuesday.
July 4th.
Yeah.
You need a copy, Marty?
No,
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting dates for the regular meeting schedule for 2023 as presented. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carries. All right. Erickson, yes, Erickson. Consideration of the new generator for the highway garage in the amount of $45,591. It's H1 in your packet. Right. I'll put a motion on the table, to discuss it. I'll make a motion that we approve the generator for the highway garage in the amount of $48,140.00 as submitted by Kingsley.
Rich, I think you the 45 number right above that. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know, I have 48,100.
I have 45,567.
Oh, that's on Kingsley. Oh, I'm sorry. I read the wrong number. $45,591. Next line down is 48. I gotta get new glasses.
What are we doing, capital non-recurring?
Probably. Brad,
Yes.
capital non-recurring? Or
Yeah, that'd be my suggestion. I don't think it would really qualify necessarily for ARPA. It's for the
Right.
highway garage. It feels like the police station or firehouse or something, I think you'd be able to
So-
get away with that for more on it, but.
Just for my own information, do we recommend where the Board of Finance should take the money from, or is it,
Yeah, usually.
okay,
So,
from capital non-recurring? Mary,
Yes.
I'll add that to the motion.
Your current one's having problems. The current one you have now is having problems.
I'm having a problem with the own inside, it's an own in 50 kW, so we're having problems finding parts for the generator side, not the engine part. It's 30, it's gotta be 34, 35 years old, and we put it in, I remember putting the thing in, so. We bought the lumber, what was that, Cashway, it was up on Route 7 in Brookfield, that name of that place.
I remember that.
From what, Cashway?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
That's what we bought the lumber to frame the house around. We
Oh,
built it-
oh.
we built it ourselves. yeah.
That's the
Well,
reason.
that's before my time. I wasn't out of high school.
I'm sorry.
35 years ago. Exactly. So,
So that kind of ages it. Yeah, the own inside the generator.
All right.
We're having problems with parts.
And this includes obviously installation and everything.
Yeah, installation, the rental of temporary generator for when they do the switch over freight.
Now, who services our generators?
Kinsley Services, the P and Cannondale Services, just about everything else.
It's more specified if it's
So this will just go with your service contract with Cannondale or whoever.
It's possible. I gotta fish it out because Kinsley does also provide service also. So, I mean, I gotta price that out what the service costs to Kinsley. Cannondale on that one.
well, you're currently doing service on it, so it's just
Yeah.
going to be a continuation of the service. You're not adding another program to it.
No, no.
No value judgment.
No.
And,
I think Eric can detail a little bit about discount on it and stuff like that. It's not sourcewell.
Eric,
Yeah, sorry, what was the question?
is this a state bid or is this
This is a Sourcewell discount. There's a 36% discount on the unit, and I think you can see that in the attachment I provided. But either way, there's a 36% discount on the unit, and then there's Sourcewell provides 5% discount on the installation, rental, and the startup.
And it's gonna take 48 weeks to come in.
That's what they told us. The last time I checked, they said August.
the one at the sewer plant took a year?
That's your service contract. But 48 weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought Windows were bad.
No,
Apparently
it's
generators are worse.
right. Oh, yeah.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right.
Rich, do we need a bid waiver for that because it's Sourcewell?
Well, it's under the 50,000.
It's under-
Oh, right. Okay, never mind.
We had recommended that it comes out of capital.
Next on the agenda, consideration of owner's rep for both town hall elevators and the power unit for the front elevator in the total amount of $48,140. That's where I got that number before.
Brad, just out of a question, how does this apply for this work with ARPA funds, but a generator for?
Because it's for this building. So, well, I'm not in the building, but the building you're in is our emergency shelter.
So it'll cover.
Yeah, that's what we're basing that on.
All right.
So, Brian, just so you're aware, this is, it's a two-part thing. It's for the owner's rep service to analyze both elevators, and also it's for the power unit. So the elevator power unit was
That was 38,500.
38,500.
Yeah, for the power unit.
And the owner's rep for the part is
Was
$9,640.
The other elevator, just give you a little history, the other elevator, the other end of the building is in bad shape too. But now with this new power unit for this elevator, Collier's gonna analyze both elevators and see which one is probably in the worst shape. Is that right, Eric?
Yes, yeah.
Does Otis service these generators
Elevators.
and elevators? Does it Otis?
Currently, it's Kone.
Um,
I believe the back one is in Otis, but we have Kone for the service, if I'm not mistaken.
All in favor? Aye. And Mary, did we include that? That's gonna come from the ARPA funds?
Yes.
Thank
Made
you.
the motion,
I made the motion.
and you said it, right?
All right, next on the agenda, consideration or approval or request to go out for bids to get costs for the new trucks. And Bob Dibbles here from the Highway Department and Eric Swenson from Public Works is here to discuss this. So there is in your packet. Ryan,
So, yeah, we've included in the packet, there should be a table with some highlighted rows, but this is basically a list of all the highway department vehicles, more or less. And the important thing to note is we have the year there, and on the right side, you'll see the age for each of these. I'll point out that there's 14 that are 20 years or older. The ones that are highlighted in kind of tan or peach color, those have already been, an order has been placed to replace them, although as you're probably aware, with getting vehicles these days is taking a long time. But the 5 rows that are highlighted in yellow are what we're looking at for the capital plan for this year. So essentially, without going into, we could probably talk a long time for about trucks and the need to replace them. But basically, to kind of boil it all down, we're looking at going to need to order approximately 5, maybe a couple more trucks in the next 12 months. But those yellow highlighted ones are the ones we're talking about. So we're going to be putting them in the capital plan. However, there's a couple reasons why we want to prioritize a few of them now. The first one is the loader, which is the second from the bottom. We want to replace that 30-year-old loader with a construction loader that we found from Sourcewell. There's a 40% Sourcewell discount that's going to expire in a few months. So the 40% discount on a $400,000 loader would end up being $240,000. So for that, we'd want to request a bid waiver because it's Sourcewell, and ask for the Board of Selectmen to approve that purchase. Then I'll just go through this whole thing, Rich, and then you can break it down more. I'll just try to kind of summarize here for you. The second thing we'd be looking to get is, as far as the top 3 yellow highlighted rows that say Peterbilt Pelletier, those 3 dump trucks we would be purchasing, as we usually do, in 2 parts. And I know if you have any questions about that, I'm sure Bob is more than happy to explain that. But basically, we buy the chassis separately from the bodies, more or less. And to kind of get on the list for the chassis, we'd like to have a letter of intent to purchase the 3 chassis, even if we don't immediately purchase 3 of them right now. Those are 150,000 each with a 15% Sourcewell discount comes to about 127,500 each for the chassis. So we'd be requesting a letter of intent for those three. But up for the immediate purchase, we'd want to do a purchase order for one or two of them, depending on what you guys decide. And Rich knows this. Obviously, we'd probably prefer to put an order on two, but you know, it's your call. And for those, we'd also, I think, we'd need a bid waiver as well, because those are Sourcewell discounts, and they're over 50,000. So that's the immediate request. Everything else would go into the capital plan, but we want to kind of point this out to kind of give you a sense of where we're coming from and why we want to prioritize these ones in particular.
Correct.
What's that?
The only thing left is an F-250.
Yeah, but what they would like to do, and
I understand what they like to do. He said the remaining stuff will go into our capital plan. That would be an
Well,
F-250.
right, but if I may, we've had conversation with the controller's office, Eric, myself, and even with Bob. And so we're looking to see how we could maybe achieve some of this. And it was a recommendation from the controller's office that we do something in the neighborhood of the 300,000, maybe buy one truck or two trucks, and that would be around the 300,000, or one truck and the loader. And let me ask Bob, because I didn't get an answer earlier about the loader. What is the condition of the current loader?
It's a replacement of the 92 loader, so it's got 16,000 hours of change on it. So it's condition and the hours on it, it's end of life on for the machine.
Bob, how much does it cost to put the chassis on where your salt, your dump body and all that? How
The
much?
dump body package. And
Yeah, how much is
hydraulics
that?
and plow. Right now, we're thinking about 125.
So the
Per
actual
truck.
cost of the
Per
trucks are
truck.
250,
Right.
250,000.
Right. But with the delay getting the trucks, that's what they came in for. If we can just get the chassis purchase, get them in the queue for a delivery. It could be up to 2 years, but
Right,
you've been waiting over a year now for the truck that we've ordered, correct?
The truck the chassis, we ordered that in, I think it was the end of February 2020. We haven't gotten that chassis yet. It's supposed to be in the middle of next summer.
March of 21.
21?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
20 would be 3 years.
Bob, I know technically a lot of towns don't buy equipment, but are there any fairly new ones that you put in your fleet immediately rather than waiting? It sounds like buying stuff and waiting 2 years for it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's
There really
insanity.
isn't, there's not too much used stuff around. That's one of the bigger problems. One of the bodybuilders, the guy who's built our past few bodies, they're out there trying to, they brought in a few fire trucks, like from the volunteer fire department, like tanker trucks, and they're trying to convert to town trucks, putting plows and trying to put bodies on and stuff like that. And they've been trying to resurrect some trucks in some pretty poor condition because there really isn't too much used rolling stock around. And if you do find something used, the prices are outrageous on it.
Does MHQ carry these? So they sell a lot of town trucks.
What's that?
MHQ, have you looked there?
I look through one of the biggest auction places like RTI over through New York State, because they turn over a lot of county trucks up there. Lions and some.
MHQ sells new. They sell
Yes.
police cars,
Right.
town trucks, they sell everything.
Yeah, I haven't had much luck finding, really anything that's, for the money they're looking for them and what you're getting. I don't think those trucks are probably a worthwhile investment, to be honest with you. if I can get another chassis from Peterbilt with the one that's on order until next summer, you know, get in line for 2 more. You know, we're trying to buy a place in line, basically. You know, Peterbilt's telling us that you know, across their line of trucks, so that they have probably several different trucks that they produce, different trucks. And there's some place in the 12,000 to 13,000 truck orders at this point that have been ordered.
So,
I mean, if I found a deal, believe me, you know, but I mean,
It's not even a deal, it's just finding something that's more readily
a bit
available.
more readily available,
You know, I don't care about, I'm not looking
Yeah.
to save money, I'm just saying,
right?
what's the point of buying a truck and waiting 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
for it?
Right.
Put it in service.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, the truck, you know, you know, the truck is on order, so we know that, you know, it's supposed to be in here middle of next year, but the truck that that I want to replace right now, if I can't get a chassis, I'm gonna have to buy a dump body for it, put a dump body on at some point before the following winter after this one. And that could be any place from, you know, $30,000 to $40,000 to do that.
on that same issue of something being used, what about a loader?
Yeah,
Do you get any of these auctions, you know? people
Yeah, I do.
close
So,
up their
right,
businesses
so there's
and
like
stuff?
machinery trader and stuff like that. And I'll just make an example. When we bought the other loader in 2010, you know, that same question came up and I looked into it and there was a couple loaders on there that were, you know, 500-600 hour machines that came off a rent, right? And they were between 245,000 and 255,000. Now the loader was brand new, list was 270 and it was at 40%. So we only paid 162 for a brand new loader versus something that we would even spend more money on, you know, for a $400 or $500 rental return. And the dangers of buying, you know, a loader or an excavator off a rental return is you don't know where it's been and what's been done to it. You know, the wrong person was in it, so on and so forth. And you end up with a machine that's kind of questionable. But we can save more money, a lot more money by buying it new. You know, like I said, there was, you know, we paid 162,000 for that machine. And 4 and 5, you know, 500 and 600 hour machines, the same exact machine, were for sale at that same exact point for like 245 to 255.
Well, I think the loader, you're getting 40% off, right?
Right,
And that
exactly.
expires when?
It sounds like May of next year.
So you have to buy it by May of next year.
Yeah, because I don't know, you know, I don't know how, you know, if the percentage is going to change on when they renew these things. Right now, John Deere isn't on federal government GSA, but they're on Sourcewell 40% off.
So do you, your expert opinion, being the guy who's in the trenches every day and putting people out there, would you prefer 2 chassis? Or would you prefer a loader and a chassis? What makes most sense to your operation? That's,
I think as far as getting stuff in as quick as possible, I think a chassis and a loader. And then,
I mean, it's a good deal if you're really getting 40% off.
It is.
It sounds like we're saving
Right.
money. You know, I think that comes a little bit over where Brad wants to be able to come out to 365. Is my math correct, Brad?
Sounds about right.
Issues.
you know, and then I think, you know, and I don't know how Brad and you guys feel about it, but you know, if we gave Peterbilt a letter of intent to purchase 2 more, I mean, then, you know, we don't have to write a purchase order for it. I would believe, you know, maybe.
Well,
Brad could
that's
speak
going
better.
to be a question for Marty, you know.
Yeah. I've done it before. I've done it with 4.
Oh, where you pull back the letter if you don't buy it?
Yeah. And it was really to get me in a place in line.
And why?
you know.
Well, the Board of Finance doesn't have to approve this anyway, right?
'Cause I
Right,
honestly-
Why, where's the money coming? That's what's gonna be my question. Where's the money?
Capital non-recurrent. Right, Brad?
Yeah, that'd be where it's coming from.
But,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's currently
Board of Finance isn't gonna approve.
what?
Board of Finance isn't gonna approve.
Yeah,
it Coming from capital non-recurrent. Yeah, they gotta approve it, correct, Brad?
Yeah, it would go to the Board of Finance next.
USA.
Yeah. Currently, the unallotted fund balance, or the balance in the capital non-recurring is $1,050,000.
So just to talk about that for a second. So right now there's a 1,050,000. The Board of Selectmen earlier tonight approved $46,000 for a generator. So it's really, if the Board of Finance approves that, there's $1 million in CNR unallocated. You also have to keep in mind, the highway department has a chassis on order that's supposed to come in say June. At some point, we're gonna have to put a body on it. So let's go on, even if we go on the low end, $100,000 to put a body on it. Really, there's closer to $900,000 unallocated. That's why when Rich and I were talking about it earlier, we were talking in the $300,000 range, because we'd like to keep, we still have 6 months left of this year if something breaks.
Well, it's really though more than that. I mean, the true numbers, if you buy one chassis, the true number is gonna be 250.
Yes, but
You're not gonna buy a chassis and you're not put a body and everything on it. So, you know, the question is though, Brad, are there capital projects that have closed out, that the money's still in there? That we put in too much money and there's money left over on capital projects?
there's not a lot out there, because of the it's just under $1 million that's been allocated that hasn't been spent yet. 100,000 of that is the chassis for the truck that we were talking about earlier. You got $100,000 for 12 bottles and air packs for the South Street Fire Department that are on order.
That's out of this budget, or you've already taken into account for that?
That's already been taken into account, so that doesn't affect. But I'm just talking about what could possibly come back. So a lot of the big ticket items out there that would be enough money to really if it came in under, to give money back. They're on order and they're locked prices.
How do we do roads this year?
I think the road budget is pretty tight. I don't know if Bobby knows offhand while I try to pull it up.
Oh, because Bobby just came in with a $7,000 bill for another paving project, so we're trying to see if he had any money left over from any of the other work to help pay off.
Yeah, I just got an invoice from Tilcon for that in-town section we did. I think it's and that's gotta be paid. It hasn't been paid yet. It's like 370,000, something like that.
So we're not 100% sure if there's any money
Right.
at all left. in
Because I
that.
have to do the.
We might have to come back in for some little bit of extra on that.
Yeah. There will be 40 or 45,000 coming back from the state whenever the state sends us the money for the grant that we got for the body cameras though. So that would go back into CNR.
And how much was that?
Offhand, 45,000.
Oh, I think I saw 47.
Yeah.
Brad, if we approve this, Board of Finance approves it, you'll just keep carrying that CNR number over until the trucks get here.
Yeah, it'll go into the allocated projects total.
No problems carrying that for 2 years for accounting or anything like that if the trucks haven't come in.
No, it shouldn't be, because it's something that's on order. It's not a placeholder. It's a physical order that you have outstanding. So the auditors would be fine with that.
The loader's more readily available than
It sounds like it.
yes.
But the loader, the deal on the loader is good until May.
May. And, to throw your dice down the table and say, okay, is John Deere gonna redo it 40%, or is that percentage gonna change, right? Peterbilt and some of the, Peterbilt and some of the other construction equipment manufacturers have gone back to Sourcewell and changed the contracts for less and less discounts. Those Peterbilt chassis and what the other one before we ordered, that was at 34% discount, that chassis was at 78 grand. And we're down to 22%, now it's down to 15%. So, it's that old story, we can't make the equipment fast enough, and there's market issues and delivery problems, and, the price keeps going up.
Yeah, based on the trends, there's every reason to think that 40% is not going to be there after May.
Bob, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat.
Sure.
What do you want? A truck and a loader
If I
or
can get
two
that,
trucks?
if I can get that other chassis, get that loader
All right.
replaced, right?
I'll make a motion to forward to the Board of Finance purchasing another Peterbilt truck and the loader for 240,000 for the loader and 127,000 for the chassis.
I'll second for discussion.
Okay. Discussion.
I guess, I mean, if it was me, this is what I want to talk to you. I mean, we're talking about 127,000 a truck. The loader deal is good till May.
Mhm.
Before May, we'll have a really good idea where we are in capital, non-reoccurring. I mean, to me, it would make sense to buy more chassis, because if that deal's guaranteed till May, we can act,
Yes.
we can act on it.
Yeah.
The chassis, when is that deal over?
You know, I'll be.
And especially if we're waiting 2 years, loaders,
Right. You know,
loaders are always available. There's always, there's always a loader available. And God forbid your loader went down, you could rent the loader and get us through until
Yeah,
whenever, if we had to.
right.
What I'm
yeah.
saying is, aren't the chassis a more imperative thing for you in the sense
You
that,
know, it sounds like Peterbilt is trying to get me a second chassis now. They're trying to work that through their order.
right,
Those other two chassis, I'm just looking to buy my place in line at the devil. You know,
but we could
I'm looking
allocate
for
the
a
funds
deli.
now and it's locked in.
Right, because I
And the
don't.
price is locked in, correct?
No.
No,
Oh,
it's
they-
on delivery. It's on delivery.
So they can go up 20%. if they
Yeah,
want.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
That's crazy.
it's the same with everybody. You know, they won't even give me an exact price on a truck right on a chassis right now.
We're just kind of shooting darts at it's
Yeah.
127.
Yeah, I'm completely honest with you, we are, because they won't give me a price on a truck.
I wish I could do that. Okay.
You know, the Ford.
I'll let you know.
The Ford pickups we bought for
Yeah.
$32,000, those F-250 chassis.
Yeah.
You know, the Ford drive it for 32 grand. They just took a jump to 46 and change.
For an F-250.
for F-250, just, yeah, for a pickup. Yeah. That's our cost on state on DAS.
That's on the state bid.
On the state, bid, 32 to 46.
Is that a diesel or that's gas?
No, it's just gas engine, just
For
plain
an
rubber road
F-250.
for an F-250. I don't know what the window sticker will be on.
You know, I bought my 2020 F-350 with an 8-year warranty for 41,000 2 years ago. Isn't that crazy where the prices are going?
Yeah,
It's absolutely insane.
yeah, because this just came out on DAS, and I was talking about it with Derek. You know, I mean, that's my.
It's crazy.
All right.
Well,
I
again, Bob, I mean, it's your call. You're the boss, you know, you're the foreman now.
I actually don't think I'm gonna get more than one chassis out of Peterbilt, or you know, the one we have ordered for next summer,
Water and
and then
one.
another one on top of that for next summer. I don't think I'm gonna get anything more than that out of them. They have a long list of orders.
So realistically, we would need to approve 370,000 to be realistic. I mean, you don't even have a price on a chassis right now. You're just shooting darts saying it's gonna be 125.
And it sounds to me that the pricing, we won't get any pricing until the truck's ready to go into production, you know, across the line.
And then they'll take 15% off that.
Yeah,
Then, you know, I make a motion that we approve 370,000 from capital non-recurrent to purchase one chassis and the loader at a 40% discount.
So you're adding 5,000 to the.
I'm adding 2,500 because he said 127,500. So what's the difference? I mean, I hate shorting ourselves
Yeah.
and not being realistic in a number, you know, because there's nothing worse in a budget than to say, hey, you know, we're gonna buy this equipment and it's gonna cost us 125 and it comes in over.
All right, I'll amend my motion for the 370 rather than 365. Okay,
yeah, I'm hoping to come back and say, here's great news, fellas.
Yeah.
You know,
well.
And if it's less, we could always carry it over
Yeah.
to the next two trucks. Or you buy, we can, you know, you have 30,000 left over, maybe you buy your F-250, get that out of the way. You know, it's just, the problem is, you know, there's so many needs and so many capital requests, you know?
No, I understand.
Yeah,
It's, and I know you need the trucks, believe me, I get it.
no,
It's the state.
the snowstorm and 2 breakdowns, 2 trucks go down. And that was 3 inches of snow.
But once these get replaced, are you pretty good on your low boys, or are there a lot more coming up?
Right now, my low boys are good, you know. But, you know, I'm trying to get us in a place where, you know, I get X amount of years out of my big trucks, and then those couple of years that are in between, I can use to either replace low boys or, you know, whatever other equipment. So it's not.
How many triaxles do you have? Do you have a triaxle?
No.
No triaxles,
No,
just
no,
all
six
those like top kicks, the 6-wheelers, or all
So,
that?
yeah, all
Yeah,
big
six
trucks are
wheelers.
6-wheelers. Yeah.
How many 6-wheelers do you have?
12.
Well, and once you replace these, how many more of those you got to go before you're in a good place?
Well, I got 2 Sterlings left after we get through these 2 trucks. I got 2 Sterlings left, which, you know, one of those trucks I can keep as a spare, because it's really handy to have a spare truck in case I get a breakdown, right? The problem with the Sterling trucks is that, you know, Sterling was bought by Freightliner, and it went out of business like 2010. And they're only required by the closure, to carry parts for 5 years.
Yep.
So there's a lot of parts that are, I have a dealership in Maine, Whitey's Truck Center, that we can get right now most of the parts. But we have, you know, you have to search those things out. You don't really like thousands, there's tons of parts you just can't get, you know, and it could be a stupid failure that takes the truck off the road.
I mean, we do that
Alright.
and revisit it in
Yeah.
May, and if we're in a good,
See
if
how
we're
the
in a good
money is.
position where we got capital amount recurring, maybe we finish truck purchases, huh? Just get it. I just, you know, Brad, did you research whether any of this qualifies for ARPA? I mean, I thought ARPA had to do with emergency services, and I mean, Bob most certainly is an emergency service in a snowstorm. I mean, no one's gonna make it to the shelter if Bob's not out plowing roads.
We haven't for the trucks, to be honest with you. So we can look at it.
Something maybe we should look at, because if we can use the ARPA funds, it might be, you know, easier to complete.
Yeah.
Purchases.
Yeah, we can look at it. The problem is they give you so few guidelines on what you can do. It's hard, so, but we can look to see what other towns and cities are doing too.
Does supplanting of funds even come into play in ARPA funds, or they don't even talk about that?
They listed 2 or 3 things that you absolutely can't do. You can't buy your mill rate down, you can't put it in your pension, and there's one other thing I think you can't do. And then they've had like 12 different rulings on how you can interpret the rest. It's very convoluted. We actually technically, for reporting wise, took it all as revenue replacement, because you could take the first $10 million as revenue replacement, and the town of Ethel got just under 6 million. But even if you take it as revenue replacement, you still need to spend it on something that qualifies for ARPA, which I don't understand then why they let us take it as revenue replacement. So the whole thing's been a mess. They rushed out and gave everybody a ton of money, and then they had to figure out the rules behind it, and they will not pre-approve anything. So
If you're wrong, you gotta give the money back.
that's my understanding, yes. But they also have to have the manpower to go out and audit everybody to prove that you're wrong. So, and every town and city got a ton of money. So who knows when that'll be completed, if ever.
Years.
Yeah, and I think that's why they increased the revenue replacement, because initially there was some convoluted formula, and then they just said, do the formula or up to $10 million. So I'm hoping that there's not a big audit of Bethel, but I don't want to be aggressive with it, to be honest with you, because we don't want to be sitting here 5 years from now going, we owe the feds back $500,000 because of the audit.
Okay.
All right,
We
all
approved it,
right, well,
right?
let's move on the motion to, for a truck and for the loader for 370 and move forward to the Board of Finance. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried.
You will need to add to your agenda a bid waiver
For what? Trucks?
for to use Sourcewell to buy the trucks.
When we do that after the Board of Finance approves it?
Make sure you have the money first.
Yeah, we gotta make sure that the Board of Finance approves
They
it.
don't
Yeah,
approve
either way.
All right,
As soon as they approve this, we'll do the bid waiver every week.
I'll have Marty write up the bid waiver. Like Marty, the other one. Lengthy one.
You have to use your charm. Bob, as part of the Board of
No problem. Charcoal.
All right, next on the agenda is consideration of ratifying the clerical union contract.
Rich,
What?
you wanted to vote on the regular meeting minutes from 11.
Well, we could do that. I mean, when we come out of executive session, we have to vote on something anyway, so
Okay.
I just put it at the end. Consideration of ratification, executive session.
Second for executive session.
Invite in the controller, the recording secretary, and John Shea, and town attorney. There's
We'll get the
the
Yeah, you look so upset about it.
Jolene's on
Merry
there.
Christmas.
Have a good time.
Should she be on it or?
Thank you, John. Have a good Christmas.
No. Jolene, we're gonna shut you off for a while. If you want to come back later. Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, we'll see you, Eric.
So, yeah,
So Mary, are you able to put Jolene in a waiting room and David?
I think, I mean, I can shut my video off.
Well, but
I
yeah,
can still hear.
so Zoom should allow you to put people in a waiting room and then we could bring you out of the
Yeah.
waiting room when the executive session ends.
Right.
And if Mary, if you want to make me co-host, I might be able to do it.
Oh, but wait.
I'm glad somebody knows how to work these things.
No, she did. And you'll have to pause the recording.
Okay. Can you bring those other people back in if they're still there? Hello, we're back. You want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the clerical contract as presented.
Second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, two more things on our agenda. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jolene.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
The addition to the agenda is approval of the minutes of of November 15th Board of Selectmen's meeting. Any additions, deletions? You see anything, Marty? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the special joint meeting with the Board of Finance for December 1st as presented.
Aye.
Any additions or deletions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Second. Let's go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.